Hey everyone, Evan Kirstel here with Doug and Jim, and we're on like Donkey Kong today. The CES has come to an end, but we have the best insights from the gentleman here on the show, Doug Money. Doug, I don't know how you describe you. You're a rocket man, right? Little rocket man, or you're a writer. Not yet put out of business by Chat GPT. Jim Harris, you are the number one tech influencer, not just last year, but this year. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
So you were fresh off of CES. You're still in Vegas. Jim, how much money did you lose in Las Vegas during CES at the casinos?
Well, not at the casinos. I lost about $300 in an Uber in the form of a 5G hotspot. Like, I do all this research beforehand. Who has the best 5G in Vegas? And it turns out to be T-Mobile. So I go get myself this beautiful $300, state-of-the-art 5G hotspot, and then I leave it in a
Oh, okay.
an
Well
Uber,
done,
and I
sir.
couldn't get it. I
Well,
couldn't get it back, so I lost $300, and then I had to go get the great pain of it. I had to go get another 5G hotspot.
so you're up to about 10G right now.
Yeah.
And Doug, you made it home. You didn't end up buried in the desert. Doug, so let's start with you. And I know you're, the glass half empty kind of guy. Nothing new under the sun, yada, yada, yada. But tell us something you were surprised about on the upside, delighted by maybe at CES.
I was happy that Iridium announced that they were having their satellite technology and their satellite network embedded into the Qualcomm chips. So starting in the second half of this year, you will be able to buy a smartphone that you can communicate anywhere in the world, literally. I mean, you could get yourself lost at the North Pole and you could send text messages from the North Pole as the polar bears are chasing after you.
Which I can now do on my Apple phone. But you're saying this is for
No,
communication.
no. The
Okay.
Apple phone is not as good because the Apple the coverage for Apple is only like in a band around there. They don't go to the extremes. So if you're up in Canada and you're trying to make a text message because the moose is chasing you and you're above a certain latitude, you're out of luck, buddy. Their network is not as good.
And this is really important because if you're hiking in Arizona and you fall down a cliff and you broke your leg, but you can still get an Iridium signal, you could broadcast for help with your smartphone. So this is really exciting from a safety point of view.
Well, not only safety, but the deal also is going to support regular text messaging services through the Iridium network. This is just not, hey, I've fallen and I broke my leg and I can't get up type of deal. This is, there's a certain amount of regular commerce going on as well in terms of text messaging. So if you're out in the middle of the woods and you go, hey, honey, I need this taken care of, you can do that too. So there's an enabler there for both individuals and for commerce as well.
Awesome. Okay. Satellite communications, always a good start here with Doug. Jim, what about you? What was your number one, two, maybe three top surprises, delights, takeaways as the number one influencer at CES?
Well, my number one insight, the thing I was most excited about was rapid charging. Now, initially that starts on rapid charging on the phone, but imagine being able to charge my smartphone from 0 to 100% in 19 minutes. That's with the OnePlus new 10T 5G smartphone. But it's more than just that. The charging is faster at the lower end. So Xiaomi has released a phone that goes from 0 to 50% in 3 minutes. So imagine you're down to next to nothing. And for Gen Zs and millennials, their smartphone is everything. It's texting, it's photographs, it's music, it's stock trading, it's dating apps, it's sexting, it's Uber, it's Lyft, it's everything. And if your battery's dead, you're not only not getting a date tonight, you can't even get to a bar. So your battery getting low is very, very important to millennials and Gen Zs, anybody who have a smart phone-centric life. But it's not just smartphones. It's moving to wearables like my earbuds. It's moving to notebooks. And eventually this will move up to electric vehicles. So the company Navitas has this GaNFest technology. And not only does it make charging faster, it also greatly reduces the amount of energy that's required. So there's a sustainability story to this. So this will be revolutionary going forward. So that was my most exciting thing. The second thing that was interesting is I did this video of my Uber driver. She was in a Tesla Model Y. And, I always talk to my Uber drivers and my Lyft drivers. On the way back to the hotel, she was saying, I just got this Tesla Model Y. I used to drive a gas car. It's saving me $700 a week, which is more than my entire car payments. So I'm actually making money by driving this. It's just a little innocuous.
Let's take a look at that little video, because, 2 million views is, amazing. And let's see what she had to say, because I think it was a pretty cool little interaction.
This is Mary Elena, who is my Tesla driver, my Uber driver. So, my Tesla driver. So how much are you saving a week on gas?
$700 a week.
$700 a week. So that's like $35,000 a year.
Yes.
So it means that you actually have money.
Extra money left over.
Instead of your car payments.
Exactly.
Amazing. So what do you think about the Tesla?
I love it. It's amazing. The money that it saves me, the headaches that it saves me. I was actually in an accident and the driver drove off without exchanging insurance information with me. That alone saved me $2,500.
Because you had the cameras that documented who he was.
Yes, exactly. And I didn't have to pay the $2,500 towards my insurance instead.
Because you just gave the insurance company the videos.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm just going to get a picture of the whole car here. Mary Elena, my Uber Tesla driver. Thank you so much.
Oh, Canadians are so nice, aren't they? You're just, this is great advertisement. Not just for Tesla, but for Canada in general. The nicest people on the planet. But yeah, that was a really fun video.
Yeah, it was. And what blew me away, I think Mary Elena is overestimating the amount of her savings per week on gas. But that's not really the point. The point is that if you're a high-use driver, i.e. a taxi, an Uber, a Lyft, or a salesperson who drives all the time, she drives 50,000 miles a year, and you can pay back for your entire car in less than 3 years. So high-use drivers should be using electric vehicles or hybrids. So that's point number one. Point number two is there are all these unanticipated benefits, like her getting hit by a hit-and-run driver who drove off without exchanging information. The fact that Tesla has all these cameras saved her $2,500. So she's a happy little camper. And what blew me away is you never know what's going to go viral. So here, like this thing, I put it out. It's just this short 59-second video. I just think, oh, it's fun. And 2.2 million impressions and, just shy of 500,000 people have watched the entire video. So, I'm just blown away by this. So that would be number two. And number three is top talent. We all talk about tech here at the event. That's the real focus. But what we're not talking about is the profound shifts that have happened that will never go back, like the genie's out of the bottle, in the way we work, given our experience with the pandemic. And, the top talent globally is demanding flexibility over their careers and when and how they work. And companies are ordering people back to the office. And so the top talent is fleeing. And this is absolutely one of the things that blew me away. So top talent is congregating around organizations that will deploy them on their own terms. And one of the companies I saw is called TopTal, T-O-P-T-A-L.
Let's play a quick video. One sec, because I did see you. You actually had a little chat there as well with TopTal. So let's see
While you're finding it, I'll just. Oh, you found it already. Okay.
Electronics show in Las Vegas. CES is the most influential tech event in the world, and I'm talking with Wayne Thompson of TopTal. TopTal is the largest fully remote workforce in the world. Its platform connects clients with best-in-class talent, helping firms tackle the most critical projects. To join TopTal, applicants have to pass a staggering 80 hours of pre-qualification testing. It's the industry's most vigorous vetting process. And of the thousands of applicants every year, only 3% are accepted. So more than 12,000 organizations have worked with TopTal, including a long list of Fortune 500 firms. So Wayne, what are some of the benefits of working with TopTal?
I would say one of the benefits right off the top is we can get our clients to cut that hiring time for some of the best talent in the world from weeks and months, literally to within hours.
And so for mission critical applications and projects, TopTal has been able to shorten not just the hiring, but the development cycle from weeks to days.
That's correct.
Wow. The case study I was blown away with was the leading meditation app, Calm. They faced a system outage costing $40,000 an hour, so they turned to TopTal, and in just 72 hours, a TopTal AWS DevOps expert not only rebuilt but deployed their entire infrastructure, saving thousands. I mean, I guess you could say the leading meditation app got far calmer working with TopTal.
You could say that. One of the other advantages, Jim, too, is the fact that organizations can cut that time and cost for recruiting, training, onboarding talent by leveraging TopTal. They get to pick exactly the type of skill sets that they're looking for and the engagement model that they want.
And it's not just programmers and developers that are in the network. What other experts do you work with?
There's data scientists, machine learning experts, designers, project managers, product managers, management consultants, technology strategists as well.
And you work in healthcare, automotive, financial services, all industries.
Telco, media and entertainment as well.
Now, TopTal practices what it preaches. Yeah. It's the largest fully remote workforce in the world. And why is this important? Because top talent is demanding flexibility, control, and autonomy over their careers.
You got it.
Awesome. Well, that was really cool. That's a new approach to talent.
Well, yeah, and it's fascinating that Jim tapped into this talent issue because when CES opened, did their top tech trends on Tuesday. The first thing they didn't talk about was not about consumer tech. They talked about enterprise technology, and they emphasized how enterprise technology would leverage things like AI, the cloud, and robotics, and cybersecurity. Cybersecurity got its own slide, but enterprise. There's CES, the consumer CTA is expecting a large investment in enterprise technology, due in part not to make what the phrase was to make people a nice to have, not a necessary to have in the workforce. And I think that plays in well with Jim's talk with Top Tech, because then enterprise folks, they don't have to have people on staff. They can have people when they like them.
Well, it's all the trend towards the gig economy and flexibility and being, floating your own shingle out there and being independent. That's a trend we're seeing. But let's get back to tech, because we have some great gadgets. What's your tech budget for from CES? Because I have a number of products that I actually want to buy, and maybe let's start through with one of them that looked pretty spectacular. That was this Samsung's Flex Hybrid concept. Did you have a chance to go hands-on with this?
Go ahead, Doug.
I did not, but I'll point out that that's not viable. It's a concept that they were showing off.
Oh,
And
Doug, you're such a downer.
you
I'm
got,
calling you Doug Downer.
you got a couple years. You got a couple years. But I will point out, Evan, that the cool things that we did see in flexible screen tech, like from the Lenovo. Remember, we saw the Lenovo things a couple years ago. You can actually buy them now, so
Right.
you can get products from Lenovo that are flexible screen or folding screen, and they're pretty cool.
Or as we call them, Lenovo.
Or Lenovo, yeah.
Yes. The next one that I'm a keen aviation geek, and it wouldn't be CES without flying cars. We're getting closer, although everyone criticizes these things. They don't look like cars, but micro mobility, again, electric powered and pretty cool. Did either of you take a ride in one of these magical vehicles?
No, I didn't. And like you, I think it's very cool. But from a sustainability perspective, your own personal flying car is going to take a lot of energy. One of the trends, by contrast, that I was very excited about is micromobility. In the U.S., more than 60% of trips are 5 miles or less. So why do I need to move around a 2,000-pound hunk of steel burning fossil fuels when I can get on a 28-pound e-scooter? So
we have some footage. We have footage here.
Oh, this is such a fun little piece.
We're here at the Consumer Electronics Show. It's the most influential tech event in the world here in Las Vegas every year. And one of the very exciting technologies globally are e-scooters. Think about this. More than 60% of trips in the US are 5 miles or less. So from a sustainability perspective, which is better, pushing around a 2,000-pound piece of steel with burning fossil fuels, or an e-scooter like this Navi that weighs only 28 pounds? We've seen an incredible explosion of e-scooter use. It is the fastest growing category of mobility. It's called micromobility. So check out Navi here. Look it up on the web at CES 2023.
So, Doug, were helmets not available at this time? Because, I know in Canada they have free health care and, you can crack your skull in confidence on the pavement. But in the U.S., it's kind of a problem. There is an issue with safety in these things. They've been banned in, Paris and Austin, and there's what say you?
And they set your house on fire. There have been several. there have been several fires attributed to e-scooter recharges in the home, and there was one recently in Washington D.C. where somebody's apartment went up in flames. And it's just like, no.
That to me is a reason to buy a really reputable brand. My earbud just fell out. To buy a really reputable brand, And when I go cycling or when I'm on an e-scooter, I do have, Evan, just so you know, a helmet. I just shot this thing. There was no traffic, right? But here's something that's really cool. You know that super reflective piping they put on everything, running shoes or, your coat? I've actually bought a coat for cycling or being on these e-scooters that is made 100% of this reflective material. So if it's at dusk or at night, you just light up. It's incredible if a car is coming towards you or away, the other way.
No, I get it. Yeah, that's great. New material.
Very highly visible. So I believe in safety, but these things are absolutely amazing. And if you think about it, the two fastest growing companies of all time in the US were Lime and Bird. They both went from $0 to $1 billion valuation in less than 12 months. So this is really telling us something.
And back to zero in less than 12 months. Amazing. Fantastic.
And now, and because they had scooters left around everywhere.
Yeah. I agree that there's a business model, there's a need. Still more work to do with the municipalities and the cities to kind of redesign their roads for these kind of devices. So moving on to the next cool gadget that I kind of want, it's the ultimate in working from home for me and Doug, who need to get our exercise in. What other sort of digital health or health related devices caught your attention? This looks fun. I could see myself pedaling away. Anything else that caught your attention?
So I'll just say, I love this idea of cycling while working. I also like the concept and use of walking desks, where it's a standing desk. You're in essence on a treadmill while you're working.
All right.
But I just say, if you're on a Zoom or MS Teams call, don't do it. It is very distracting to be on a Zoom call with somebody who's, bouncing, or imagine this is what I'm doing our entire time. It's a little bit distracting. So kids, if you got one of these things, that's great, but don't use it when you're on an MS Teams or Zoom call.
Or on a scooter. Don't Zoom and scoot.
Yeah, don't hold your phone while scooting. Yeah.
And there were just tons
distracted driving,
So the next is screens. You can never have enough big, beautiful screens. What's the latest? Cool screen technology is foldables and I guess television still getting better, sharper, crisper. Wireless television I saw was one of the big deals. Anything noteworthy on the screen side of things?
Well, one of the biggest, retweeted things was a display TV that's 55 inches and it has 4 months of hot swappable batteries. It's completely wireless. You can put it anywhere. It has suction cups that can be mounted, so you can mount it to any wall, anywhere. Was a guy walking around the show wearing it. It's a wearable TV. But, these batteries supposedly last for 4 months if you're using the TV 6 hours a day. But it was very elegant in that it has no wires at all. And what I'm interested in is where we get to literally a rollable, think about a sheet of paper that's 11 by 17 that I can just roll up a screen and bring it with me here in CES so that, when I'm in my hotel room, I can just hang it on the wall and I can have a vertical screen on the wall, my horizontal screen on my laptop, so that, when I am working in my office, I have 3 4K screens, 2 vertically oriented and 1 horizontal. They're all 32-inch, I think, maybe bigger. But I'm addicted to that, area of screen. And when I'm at an event, I'm frustrated because I'm working on this tiny, even though it's a nice laptop, I'm working on one screen. So I want to be able to take screens with me everywhere all the time. So this is the promise of where we're going, and it's quite exciting.
Yeah, I'm actually excited as a use case for AR, or Apple glasses, let's call them, because you can essentially bring your screens with you and potentially just travel, let's say, with a keyboard, and you'll have your screen, multiple screens in front of you. That's the dream, but I'm sure Doug is pretty negative on that, right, Doug? You're not going to do that.
Well, actually, there's 2 points I'd like to make. First, on the portable wireless carry it around type of form factor screen, I was talking to my daughter about it. And she's like, "Oh, it's a big iPad," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's a big iPad. You're exactly right because you can touch it and you can put it on, and you don't need batteries." So, but I think one of the VR the VR manufacturers has made a pair of a headset where you don't need glasses. You can automatically adjust it so to your prescription, and I thought that's pretty cool. And that is something where I could like almost go, oh yeah, maybe I will buy that rather than having to deal with glasses like I usually do. So they're getting a little bit. So the VR manufacturers, the VR headset manufacturers, are getting a little bit more sophisticated in catering to people's needs, because not everybody has 20/20 vision.
Indeed. The other trend I was interested in was, electric vehicles not just being cars, but scooters. As Jim mentioned, we saw planes. Now we have, a Tesla of the sea. Is there anything that, won't be powered by electricity batteries in the future? Airplanes, right through this boat, which looks, phenomenal.
I saw that on the show floor. It was pretty slick.
That boat can get up to 55 miles per hour, and the reason it can is you can see it. There's a distance between the hull of the boat and the water. It's basically a hydrofoil, which when it powers up to a certain speed begins to plane like that, and the water resistance moves to zero, basically. So incredible speeds, 55 miles an hour. So imagine the applications for fast ferries to islands. I know in the Greek islands, for instance, everything is hydrofoil. So the thing about this is it's not burning fossil fuel. The torque on electric motors is really powerful. So that's where you can get, up and out of the water with the huge torque of an electric vehicle.
Wow, fantastic. Lots of automotive news at CES. We saw, completely new vehicles announced. I don't know if this was new. This was the Sony Honda car. Did you have a look? What did you think?
It was interesting, but again, if this is a concept, but it actually this is a step forward for Sony, because Sony showed a concept like this last year, and now they're teamed with Honda, where they're actually going to take the concept and put it into like a real world product, which is a lot more than Apple's been doing for the last decade.
Yeah, on the automotive side, the VW showed its ID.7, which is a successor to its very highly successful ID.4. It's the most successful VW electric vehicle. The ID.7 they had here was changing color, using technology that it's like the technology that's in your reader, your e-reader.
Yeah, So we had two. You're saying we had two color changing cars from VW and BMW. Is that right?
That's right. Yes.
Wow.
So both were really interesting, and this BMW, the number of changes you can make. So you can have your smartphone and control the car's color from your smartphone and change it color. So it's going to be great for bank robbers, because, people will say it was a black sedan, that was the getaway car. And then 2 blocks later, it changes itself to an orange car and nobody looks at it. So, bank robbers, big application there for them.
And I love the AR, the virtual windows. So you can, be gazing out a window and see an overlay of maps and terrain and TV and all kinds of things. Did you actually have a chance to see it in person? Was it as interesting as it looked?
I did not.
Doug? No,
Nope.
I didn't actually go to see it because I'd seen all the footage of it changing color, and that was the big story. So, the challenge of CES, Evan, is there's 2 million square feet of show floor, and it's a little hard to get around to everything. So you got to really be judicious in terms of what you're going to see, and I can get the story entirely. I don't feel I need to see it, and I have to go dig out other things that I wouldn't otherwise find.
It looks like the kitchens and cooking are always a big thing. You see robotic arms to help you wash dishes. I kind of like this concept of mood refrigerators and appliances that think. Would you ever buy one of these, or is it just for fun?
I think, well, on that theme, GE came out with a smart mixer that will automatically mix things and then slow down or stop if it feels that you've stirred things up to the right consistency. So, and it also had a little built-in weigh-in scale. So if you were trying to eyeball the ingredients, the scale would weigh things and go, oh yes, you're heavy enough now. You don't have to put in more flour. So smart mixer, I might consider, because it would be cheap. And if it broke, well, que sera. A bigger item like a refrigerator. I don't know. The other trend that is in there is that people want to put cameras in ovens now. So rather than opening your oven, you can look at your smartphone and look down upon your quiche or whatever thing and tell if it's cooked or not. So from a
real men don't eat quiche, Doug. But yes, I have a
I know what your wife makes for you. Don't start in on this real man business.
But I was going to say I have a June oven, and the June has the same thing. You can see on your smartphone either a picture or a video. And it's pretty cool. So I would agree.
Which is very interesting because, if you think about the tech you have to do to make something that goes through duty from thermal cycles from 0 up to 500 degrees and back again and doesn't break. I mean, wow, that's cool. But,
And I want to just piggybacking on what Doug said, I want to pick up the camera in the oven has an impact on cooking, because when you're cooking the turkey and you have to open the oven, a lot of that heat is lost, and it takes the oven time to get back up. But if you can look at it remotely without ever opening that oven door, it changes the cooking process. It improves it. So this is, for me, that's a more important feature than a fridge that changes color. What are the practical benefits for the average person? That's what I always look at.
Well, we're yin and yang, because I always look at the most impractical benefits for the early adopter geeks. But yes, that would make sense. The other thing, I noticed we always see these kind of labor-saving devices, robots that cut your lawn or serve you food or bring food around the house or, clean your pool, robotic pool cleaners. But these are practical. Speaking of practical, right? I'd buy one of these to cut the lawn.
I was tempted to, well, it's interesting because some firms like the one you have on the screen there it's just a lawnmower. And then you have another set of firms that are making a more versatile robot where you can replace the gizmos on it and you can go from mowing your lawn to fertilizing it, or if it snows, you can stick on the snow blower and drive it around to do snow blowing. So it's a multi-purpose device. But yeah, net is I could be convinced to either buy a single purpose device just to mow the lawn like this thing, or maybe a multi-purpose device where it mows my lawn, and then when it snows, it'll also blow the snow off of my driveway.
Nice. To this point about tools, $35 billion of tools are sold every single year, and all these today are battery powered. So back to the top of the stream that we're doing right now, this fast charging technology is really important. Like if you're a roofer, you go up on top of the roof and you have this, pneumatic gun that does nail gun to staple in the shingles. But they end up carrying batteries, like tons of batteries. Workmen carry a belt with 4 or 5 hot swappable batteries for their tool set. But if you can have fast charging, you can drop that down to just 2 batteries, and you're using one and the other's fast charging. Same thing, I see a lot of DoorDash and Uber Eats, delivery people on these scooters in my city. And I talked to them, and I talked to one guy, and he said, yeah, I have to have 2 scooters because one I'm out delivering until it's near dead. And then I take it home and I plug it in to charge, and I take the other one. But if you can charge your e-scooter in 10 minutes, you got to take a food and bathroom break every once in a while. And that 10 minutes gives you another full charge and you're off again. So this fast charging is going to have all sorts of implications in the construction industry, in the Uber Eats and DoorDash delivery. So it changes how people use technology. So what I really get excited about isn't tech just for tech's sake, but tech for what are the practical things that will help people do their jobs better, faster, with less hassle.
Nice. Well, again, I'm all for tech, just for tech's sake. But yes, I appreciate your point of view. We also saw a lot of digital health and health tech devices. These are just a couple. The new EV Ring, a competitor to the Aura Ring, designed mainly for women. I thought that was an interesting product. This got a lot of play. The Withings scanning device for your urine. So, it's hooked in your toilet bowl, and I assume measures sugar and hydration and all kinds of things. So, Withings is yet another big player in this space. Any others that came to mind that were like, wow, this is kind of useful and utilitarian?
Well, out of the health tech, I think the alarm bell I'll sound is that everybody's trying to build proprietary silos for their solutions. And I'm going to flip this back. One of the bigger things out of this CES was that Matter, the in-home standard, the standard for in-home devices to communicate and work together. That finally got finalized after goodness knows how many years. And then when I take a look at things like health tech, and health tech is doing the same sort of song and dance where, okay, first we're going to have silos, but eventually everybody's going to have to cooperate with each other. You're going to want a plug and play environment. But I wish there was a way we could shortcut past the silo issue and the proprietariness and everybody owning everything to hey, we'll play well together with others for an open standards environment in health tech. That's one of my bigger concerns, because I was walking down the floor with health tech and everybody's like, well, I'll sell you my blood pressure cuff and my smart scale. And I'm like, okay, well, what happens if I want to add on a temperature device, or I want to add on an EKG or something like that? Oh, well, or a glucose monitor. And they're like, well, we're very good in blood pressure, but we don't do glucose. So we're not sure if we're going to either partner with somebody else or we're going to build our own glucose device. And it's just like, stick to what you do well and bring in best of breed open source. But nobody wants to talk about that right now. It's just like, we just want to, everybody wants to be one-stop shop. And we saw how that worked, how well that did not work in the Home Things device, because we have Amazon and Google and Apple and all the little guys. And I'm afraid we're going to spend like 10 years and God knows how many billions of dollars on devices that don't talk to each other.
Great points.
I completely agree with Doug, and ultimately it slows the adoption of the technology in the market, which means that we're not getting the benefits we could. One other thing in the health area I want to add in is what are called hearables. And as we age, our hearing often degrades, and then we have to buy hearing aids that cost thousands of dollars. Well, the earbuds today are getting good enough that you don't need a hearing aid if you have mild or medium hearing loss. So you're going to see all these, people who are aging walking around with cool earbuds, rather than spend. And these things typically cost, $200 versus thousands. So for me, this is the most exciting thing. And I learned something at the show. I'm in the media lounge. I'm hanging around. I end up sitting. You never know who you're sitting with, eating lunch, catching up on emails and whatever. I'm sitting with the editor-in-chief of the AARP, American Association of Retired People. I'm going to be pitching her on stuff, on writing for her. But it's the biggest magazine in the U.S. Like, go figure. And so we were talking about hearables. And for me, this is a very exciting category because it has real benefits, huge savings for people. It's only in the latter stages of hearing loss you need to go to a, multi-$1,000 hearing aid. So this is a really exciting story from my perspective.
Yeah, well, I know you both are AARP members. I'm excited for you. Maybe in another 10 years I'll be a member, but honestly, honestly, globally too. I mean, there's no way around the world in emerging countries they can afford the kind of multi-$1,000 devices that you find here. I mean, it's just a non-starter.
Jim, you mean you didn't meet Paula Abdul? She was helping pitch her. She was helping pitch wearable.
I got an invitation to meet Paula Abdul. And I saw Ray Wang got a photo with Paula Abdul. She was promoting sunglasses. So there's a picture of Ray wearing a pair of sunglasses he got from Paula with Paula. But no, I didn't go to that one, even though I got an invite.
Well, speaking of promoting things, word of congratulations to you and me, actually, Jim. Together, we were the top 2 out of 10 voices, I guess you'd call it, at CES. And Jim, you were right behind CNET, Wired, and TechCrunch and Reuters as having the most reach.
Congratulations, Evan, on being in the top 10. We were the only 2 personal accounts. And I guess if you have to lose, it's not bad to lose to these small organizations like Reuters or Wired or TechCrunch. The fourth one I didn't know, but it's an Indian news service, like from India. So there's we have the same reach, and our combined reach, Evan, is equal to some of these top tech outlets. Like, which, when you think about it, is kind of wild.
Oh, look at you two. Wonder Twins activate.
Yeah. Well, we should get, capes, right? Capes or something, some.
Yeah, we need more gimmicks, that's for sure. But we'll be doing a regular updates with some of the vendors that we met and liked and learned about at CES. So we're not going to leave it a whole year before we talk again till next CES. But thanks for joining. Thanks for viewing and listening. And when are you leaving, Jim? Las Vegas, leaving Las Vegas. Great movie. Are you staying there until next year, or are you actually going to go home at some point?
I'm leaving today. In fact, after this live stream, I'm going to be packing up and heading to the airport. And then later, like within the week, I'm going to be at the World Economic Forum in Davos. So that's another big event, looking at how global leaders, political and corporate, are looking at these trends and the technology. For instance, the top talent I talked about, how are organizations changing? They're not changing as much as they should. And it surprises me that a super bright person like Tim Cook at Apple is saying to everyone, you have to come back into the office. Like, he's going to lose some of Apple's top talent. Like, it's frightening how disconnected the, boomer CEOs and CXOs can be from the rank and file. And by rank and file, I mean really senior engineers and designers and programmers, coders and project managers. Like it is amazing. So top talent is fleeing because they have the ability to. They can work anywhere, and they're working on their terms. So this will be a message I am sure that we'll hear at the World Economic Forum in Davos, how the workforce and the way we work has changed forever. So, maybe the three of us could do a live stream from me over there in snowy Davos.
Yeah, as you're drinking your hot chocolate and eating fondue. You elites have a horrible life, I tell you.
Bill Gates. Yeah, tell Bill I said hi.
Doug, what will you be doing? You won't be going to Davos. Any launches maybe in Fort Canaveral that you're going to go check out?
This month is pretty busy. If I can get time, I'm going to go out to Wallops Island to see the first Rocket Labs launch out of Wallops.
Cool.
And then I'm keeping my eye on the calendar for other things. There's at least 3 different companies that are looking at launches out of Florida, including they're going to SpaceX is scheduled to launch up to 5 Falcon Heavies, the largest rocket in the world right now, out of the Cape this year for different missions. So it's going to be
hopefully they go better than Twitter has been running the last few weeks, but that's another story. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining. It's been great catching up with you guys as always, and safe travels, Jim. Take care. We'll see you in Davos.
Great to see you, Evan, on the command bridge of Star Trek. I just love that background. Make it so.
Live long.
Make
and
it so.
prosper.